What's going on? Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports, and you're watching NFL Daily. So Lamar Miller, he's out for the season with a torn ACL. So today's show, I have 5 running back replacements that the Texans can either go out and sign or trade for. Now Lamar Miller, I don't know if you saw it, went down with a gruesome knee injury, ACL tear. After making the Pro Bowl in 2018, he will miss the entire 2019 season, and he's going to be a free agent in 2020 at age 29. But this is what Miller has done for the Houston Texans the last 4 years. Sure, I've ripped on Lamar Miller here and there if you're a loyal watcher, but still the guy's at least been able to prove that he can handle a heavy workload. Not always the best with that load, but still, he's able to handle that heavy workload, and when you have a young quarterback like Deshaun Watson, being able to have a reliable running back is something important. But the Texans, they did make a splash this offseason. They went out and traded for Duke Johnson of the Browns. So this is what Duke Johnson did with the Browns the last 4 years. Okay running numbers, but he's more successful in the passing game, right? I mean, this is when he really makes that bigger impact. 74 receptions in 2017 is a big addition for this Texans team. The only issue is the question, can Duke Johnson actually shoulder the workload? So this is how this show is going to run. Chat Sports, we are the most interactive YouTube and Facebook channel. So name a running back the Texans should sign or trade for. Because I'm going to give you 5. And if you don't like my 5, hey, that's cool. Let me hear it in the comments section. Hit me up on IG or Twitter at MitchellRenz365. Chat Sports, we are the most interactive channel. So I want you to comment below. Name a running back the Texans should sign or trade for. Let's get into it here. Number 5. Carlos Hyde. Now, sure, he still is a member of the Kansas City Chiefs, but I'm pretty confident in saying that Carlos Hyde is not going to make this team. So if the Texans are looking for a cheap replacement, you can go out and then pick up Carlos Hyde once the Chiefs ultimately get rid of him. I mean, think about this. The Jags, they cut Carlos Hyde, and then Carlos Hyde quickly signs with the Chiefs, and now I expect the Chiefs to cut him. The other funny part of that is the Texans, they let go of Alfred Blue. Imagine being on a team that wanted Alfred Blue and not you. Not too good, right? So here's the Chiefs' depth chart right now. You got Damian Williams, who I expect to have a career year. Not saying much considering he's never had over 60 carries in a year. But Darwin Thompson, fantasy sleeper. I'm just going to say it right now. Love me some Darwin Thompson and Darrell Williams. The Chiefs running backs, it looks like they're going to go with the 3 Ds. Damian, Darrell, and Darwin, which means Carlos Hyde, who struggled last year, is going to be on his way out. He averaged 3.3 yards per carry. Breaking news, that's not very good. Doesn't find the end zone, and ultimately not a very good pass-catching running back. And if you want to be on this Chiefs team, you need to be able to catch the football. Now, I want you guys to subscribe to get us 150K subscribers before week 1. I'll dye my hair gray or gray. I'm actually not quite sure how to spell that word. Let me know how you spell gray. I'd be curious. The link is below. Click if you subscribe, that big red button. If you're colorblind, it could be gray or gray. Let me know. So Tom, he dyed his hair red. This is me saying get us to 150K subscribers, and I'll dye my hair gray. And let me know how you spell the word because I got no idea. Let's go to number 4 here on my list. It's LeSean McCoy. I think that the Texans should go out and trade for the veteran running back. He is 31 years old. But Shady can still, I think, get it done, right? There's already been plenty of trade rumors this offseason. He's scheduled to make almost $10 million. Now, here's the thing with Shady McCoy. He's been very good with mobile quarterbacks. In fact, I encourage everyone who watches this show to go look at LeSean McCoy's numbers with some mobile quarterbacks. Like Michael Vick, he had 17 touchdowns that year. Go back and look at his numbers with Tyrod Taylor, or Tyrod, however you want to pronounce it. LeSean McCoy has even said that he feels like he is a much better running back with mobile quarterbacks, and Deshaun Watson, I think we can all agree, is pretty mobile. So here's the Bills running back depth chart. One of the reasons why there's been some trade rumors is because they've been excited about rookie running back Devin Singletary. Frank Gore, at 50 years old, I'm pretty sure is going to play until he's 100. But TJ Yeldon, they also went out for. I expect him actually to potentially also be traded. But I think this Bills team really wants to lean on Frank Gore or Devin Singletary to see what they got. Now let's take a look at LeSean McCoy's rushing numbers the last 4 years. He battled some injuries last year, only 514 yards and 3 touchdowns. But in 2016, he had 13 touchdowns, and he's shown that he can not only run between the tackles, but he can also catch the football a little bit too. Sure, last year was a little bit of a down year, 238 yards, but 448 in 2017. LeSean McCoy is just 1 year removed from 59 catches, 448 yards. So I wanted to have some fun here on today's show, and I threw together a nice little proposed Texans and Bills trade. This fills needs for both teams, and it's a big name, so I wanted to do it. The Bills, they're going to get you Davion Clowney. The Texans, they get LeSean McCoy at 31, and then they also get Ty Nsekhe. Now, for some of you that are like, Mitch, I don't know. I mean, this fills a need for the Texans. They definitely need a left tackle, plus they need a running back. And sure, both players are over the age of 30, but if you're the Houston Texans, you're in win now mode. And if you think that these two players help you win now, guess what? Go out and get it done. The thing with LeSean McCoy, though, throughout his entire career, and it always makes me giggle, I shouldn't say that, his injuries, but like, how many games will LeSean McCoy miss in 2019? I say that it makes me giggle because there's like at least 3 times every single game where LeSean McCoy goes down with a knee injury, you're like, oh no, he's done. And then he comes right back out onto the field, right? So how many games will LeSean McCoy miss in 2019? Now here's the thing, if you guys play on FanDuel, you don't have to really worry about the injuries because it's a new tournament every single week. So if you don't want to pick a player like LeSean McCoy in season-long fantasy football leagues because he gets injured, you don't got to worry about it with FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/chatsports. If you put down, first deposit, you get $20 for free. And here's the other thing. People are always like, Mitch, let me challenge you on FanDuel. I'm smarter than you. Well, guess what? You're in luck. So if you want to enter my fantasy football tournament, DM me on Instagram or on Twitter, FF. All you got to do, DM me, FF, and then I'm going to send you the invite. You sign up for deposit. You'll sign up and deposit with FanDuel because it's for first-time users only. So if you like fantasy football, slide in those DMs, DM me FF, and let's see who's smarter, you or me. Let's get it. That's number 3 on my list, Kenyan Drake. You got to go out and trade for the running back from the Dolphins. And it's kind of funny, the full circle, right? Lamar Miller, a running back very underused for the Miami Dolphins, gets traded to the Texans. It could easily happen again. Now, between you and me, I think Kenyan Drake is hands down the more talented running back in Miami. But for some reason, the Dolphins don't really seem to want to win. Maybe they're trying to tank. I don't know. But now, Drake has missed 2 weeks worth of practice with a foot injury. He was in a walking boot, but he came back today and practiced. But there is a little bit of a running back battle down in Miami. So these are the 2018 stats of Kenyan Drake and Kalen Ballage. I do believe Kenyan Drake is just a more overall better running back between the tackles and also being able to catch the football. So if the Dolphins really want to tank, yeah, you know what? Maybe you should get rid of Kenyan Drake, who had 53 catches last year for you, who had 477 yards, 5 touchdowns. Now, sure, I don't really think he's ever been given a big workload. One of the reasons is because, sure, he does get hurt, but 120 carries for 535 yards, 4.5 yards per carry and 4 touchdowns. Like, Kenyan Drake has actually been able to show that when given a chance, the kid's actually pretty good. So I wanted to do a proposed Texans and Dolphins trade. This is what I think the Dolphins could get. You send away Kenyan Drake. If you don't want to use Drake, cool. Why don't you get some extra draft picks? Because that's really what this Dolphins team needs. You want to actually improve in the next 3 years, get as many draft picks as humanly possible. So the Dolphins, they receive a 5th-round pick. The Texans, they get Kenyan Drake. Now, here's the only question I want to ask you guys, okay? I was thinking about this. So who's the better running back, Kenyan Drake or Duke Johnson? So Duke Johnson is currently the running back for the Houston Texans if they don't go out and really make any other moves. So who's the better running back? I want you to type KD for Kenyan Drake or DJ for Duke Johnson. Let's go to the second running back here on my list. It's Ajayi. And all you got to do is go out and sign him. So the biggest thing with Ajayi, if he's healthy, this one makes sense. The only issue is he already met with multiple NFL teams this offseason. He tore his ACL in Week 4 versus the Vikings in 2018. And when Ajayi was originally coming out of the draft, he would have been a very, very high pick out of Boise. But he fell in the draft due to knee concerns. And the fact that he just tore an ACL and the fact that he met with multiple teams, I don't know if he's healthy. But when Ajayi is on the field, he is a good running back. Now, these are his 2018 numbers. 3 touchdowns, 45 carries, 184 yards with the Eagles last year. Now, the Eagles do have one of the better offensive lines in the NFL, much better than the Houston Texans, but Ajayi, I still think, could fill a role for this team. Now, here's his career stats in 42 games. The biggest thing with Ajayi is the knee, and can he handle a workload? And in 42 games worth of work, sure, the 4.7 yards per carry is good, the 13 touchdowns is there, but a lot of his yards came in like 3 games. He's got 3 200-yard rushing games against 3 very bad defenses. Ajayi is an interesting player. And one of the biggest reasons why I think he just makes sense is because there's nobody right now that wants Ajayi, who is a talented running back. Now, my next question I'm going to ask you on today's NFL Daily, who wins the AFC South? Texans, Colts, Titans, or the Jags? I don't think it's the Colts anymore because Andrew Luck decided to ruin our weekends here at Chat Sports and retire. Also, the Titans, I don't really know with Marcus Mariota. And the Jags, well, they were ranked dead last. So if you think the Texans are the favorite in the AFC South, you're probably going to like this next guy who I'm going to talk about. It's Melvin Gordon. If you think that the Texans are the best team in that division and that they're a Super Bowl caliber team, you go out and get the best running back that wants to be traded. He is expected to hold out, and I fully anticipate Melvin Gordon to not play until Week 10, until he has to report or his contract tolls. The Texans have about $40 million in cap space. It's the second most. The only team that has more cap space right now than the Texans are the Indianapolis Colts. So if they really want to go out and get Melvin Gordon, I think right now is a chance to do it because because the Chargers, they're digging their heels in. They're saying we're confident in Austin Eckler. We're confident in Justin Jackson, who I think are actually both two solid complementary running backs. And between you and me, if I was the Chargers, I wouldn't pay Melvin Gordon more than $10 million because that's what he wants. I don't think he's actually worth more than $10 million. But hey, what do I know? Now here's career rushing numbers for Melvin. 10 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns, 10 touchdowns. And I sit here and I tell you that I don't think he's worth $10 million because I think a big part of his success is actually due that he's on a very good football team in the Chargers. But he has had a lot of work, especially also out of the receiving game. So if the Texans want to have a running back who can also catch the football, Melvin Gordon right now is the best chance you got out there to be able to add to a team. I mean, Melvin Gordon, DeAndre Hopkins, and Deshaun Watson is a lot of fun. And that's why I guess he's my number one guy here on my list. So here's the trade, Texans and the Chargers. The Chargers, they receive a 2020 second-round pick. Houston, they get Melvin Gordon. And if you guys don't like my trade projections, let me hear it. I'm always curious to see what you guys have to say. So are the Texans Super Bowl contenders with Melvin Gordon? Why for yes and for no? If you say no, then actually I don't think it makes any sense for the Texans to go out and get Melvin Gordon. If you type why for yes, then yes, I actually think the Texans should go out and try to get Melvin Gordon because without Andrew Luck on the Colts, I think it really opens up things for this Texans team to win the AFC South and actually be able to compete with teams like the Patriots and be able to compete with teams like the Chiefs. So Y for yes or N for no. Now today's show was Lamar Miller replacements because unfortunately he tore his ACL and he is out for the entire season. So I put together team players that either the Texans should go out and sign or trade for. Number 5, Carlos Hyde. He's about to get released by the Chiefs. Number 4, Shady McCoy. They would have to go out and trade for him. If you want to see an interesting trade projection, keep watching, or you should have already seen it in the video. Number 3 is Kenyan Drake. Go out and trade for him. Another Miami running back, underutilized. Lamar Miller, maybe could go to the Texans. Let's go to number 2 here. Ajayi. He's still a free agent. If he's healthy, I think it makes sense for both sides, Ajayi and Texans. Maybe they go out and get Ajayi. And then number 1, I mean, it's pretty simple, right? It's Melvin Gordon. Trade with the Chargers. He's holding out. Pay him a lot of money. The Texans have the money. So here are my 5 Lamar replacements for the Houston Texans. Now, if you don't like those 5, it's all good. That's why we're here at Chat Sports. It's like why we like to interact with y'all. Name a running back the Texans should sign or trade for in the comments section. Hit me up on IG or Twitter, and make sure you guys subscribe to the most interactive YouTube channel at youtube.com/chatsportstv.